Good evening. I'm Cole Hartman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Earlier today, the Nebraska men's and women's basketball teams announced matchups at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. The Husker women will play South Dakota on Saturday, November 16th, and the men will play St. Mary's Sunday, November 17th. In a statement, Nebraska women's basketball head coach Amy Williams said, quote, "We are excited to take our team to play at the Sanford Pentagon for the first time. It is an incredible basketball venue, and it will be great. It'll be a great environment against a great opponent. We are also looking forward to seeing lots of Husker fans there to support us," end quote. Nebraska softball picked up another transfer late last night from another Nebraska native. Casey Hoffman comes to the Huskers from Arkansas, where she played in 106 games. She had 15 home runs and 47 RBIs for the Razorbacks and will have 2 years of eligibility remaining. Earlier today, Husker track and field star Rima Oteba was one of 10 track and field athletes across the NCAA named as semifinalists for the Bowerman. The Bowerman is the highest track and field accolade given annually to the most outstanding male and female athletes. On June 24th, 3 men and 3 women will be named finalists, and then the award will be presented on December 19th. Finally, the College World Series continued play up in Omaha today as Florida State defeated North Carolina 9-5. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Here come the Razorbacks, bumping over the left. Gillen, she's stopped. Rick Allen, block number 11 for the team 16. They're body bumping in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz, knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Called strike 3. Breaking ball outside corner. Make it an even 10 for McConaughey, and the Hoosiers leave 2 more here in the top of the 7th.
Now the 3-2, and Bradwell swings and hammers it deep center field. She's gone! Home run, Eva Bradwell, and a 2-0 lead for the Cornhuskers.
Tominaga with 9, 8, 7, starts down the right side, goes to the right sideline, 4 seconds, step back, 30-footer. Got it! Unbelievable! I don't believe what I just saw. Tominaga knocks it home.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and John Baylor on the Huskers Radio Network.
Yeah, that's right. What a treat for us tonight to have the voice of Husker volleyball, John Baylor, in studio. Going to be having some fun with JB throughout the night tonight. He's going to be with us tomorrow and then on Thursday as well. And looking forward to getting into all kinds of things with him. Do want to mention that Cole gave you that one College World Series score for this afternoon. They've canceled tonight's game with this weather that's about to, well, it's about to hit the Lincoln area here in a little bit, but it's going to hit Omaha and it's going to hang around for a while. So they did postpone the night game up at Charles Schwab Field. They'll play 3 there tomorrow at 10 a.m. with the first game for the College World Series. So if you are en route to Omaha, turn it around, bring it home. They're not playing ball up there tonight in what has been a great College World Series. But we are just thrilled to have JB in the house with us. How are you, sir?
Greg, fired up. It's always great to be here. Now, Florida was in that scheduled game tonight. And when you saw Will Bolts and the Husker baseball's draw, I mean, first of all, you get Allie P. Reynolds Stadium at Oklahoma State. Oh, to get to play at Oklahoma State, you got to go through Florida. That was a brutal draw, and the Gators are still playing.
They were the runner-ups last year. It's kind of like in volleyball, in your sport, if you see Penn State in your bracket, you're like,
not good.
Even if they haven't had a great year, you're going, it's a program that knows how to win.
Yeah. Florida and baseball, they go together. To get an SEC school as one of the secondary teams in the opening round of 4. That's a tough regional. That was a brutal draw. When I saw Okie State, I was thinking, yikes. But Florida, you got to go through the Gators, and they're still playing, and they were barely over 500 when they started the postseason, and they got a real shot. Now, they've lost the game. This is going to be an elimination game for them, but they could be there playing next week.
It could be. Florida-Kentucky will be that game at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I've been picking Tennessee and A&M. I think it's going to be an all-SEC final. I don't love that, but I think that's kind of what it's going to be. Hey, you're probably basking in the glow today of the Boston Celtics hanging their 18th banner last night.
18 going on 19. Now, when I was a kid growing up in Boston, we used to have bumper stickers back then, and so people would deface the back of their vehicles by putting a bumper sticker. And I remember when the Celts won their 13th, and the stickers right away were 13 going on 14. And that made such an impression on me as a kid, and we expected it. And now they got the 17. Last night was the 18th. But this is so it's something special to grow up in Boston, which I did along with Lincoln, Nebraska, and to see this kind of success. Because in the 70s and early 80s, there was really no championships other than the Boston Bruins in the year 72 and 74 with Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito. And then you had 2 70 Celtics titles that people forget. Dave Cowens was the MVP one year, a 6'9" center, led the league in rebounding one year as a 6'9", and he and Havlicek got 2 titles in the 70s. But other than that, there was a drought until a guy named Larry. And one reason he was so beloved is that he ended all of this bad karma. I mean, every year the Bruins were close. Every year the Patriots were close. Steve Grogan, for Kansas State, was the quarterback, and he was running wild. And they were so competitive, but could never. Well, the Super Bowl was stolen from them in '76. I mean, people think John Madden won a Super Bowl. He did technically, but that game was stolen by the official. But anyway, every year the Patriots were close, and the Red Sox were competitive every year. Bucky Dent, and then suddenly a guy named Larry came along, and that changed everything. And so there's this love affair with not just Larry Bird, but the Celtics, because they were the only team that could get a title. And then the drought perpetuated after '86. That was the second to last championship. It's been 38 years for the Celtics until last night. And in '86 started another drought. And then a guy named Tom Brady showed up in 2002. And so one reason Larry and Tom Brady are so beloved is was the context. Every year it's not like the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs are lovable and I think easy to root for because they're never close. All these Boston teams break your heart every year because they flirt with titles. They're always competitive, but they rarely until 02. And now this, Greg, is the 11th Boston championship this century.
Wow.
11
Oh, my goodness.
championships. You have, it's 13. 13 titles. Take it back. You had 6 for the Patriots, 4 for the Red Sox, 2 now for the Celtics, and 1 for the Bruins. So without a calculator, that's actually 13 this century. And given the recent run, you had 6 Eastern Conference titles with the J brothers, 6 Eastern Conference championship series, and they got to 2 national championships, and they lost them. And they most recently, 2 years ago, against Golden State. And for them to get over, it's just such, especially since what happened Game 4 at Dallas, and one of the most lopsided losses in NBA Finals history. For them to win, it's such a relief. I mean, Causeway Street, the whole area. I mean, it's been 5.5 years since the last championship. So you have 13 championships this century for the city, but nothing since the Patriots win in 18 over the Los Angeles Rams. In 02, Tom Brady began it with that upset win over the St. Louis Rams, and then it culminated with the Los Angeles Rams. But nothing in 5.5 years. So you had a mini drought, which ended last night. So yeah, does it mean as much as when I was a kid? No. But does it mean a lot to a whole region? Yeah. There's nothing like the connection in pro sports between Boston and its fans. I mean, maybe the Yankees, I see a lot of similarities in Chiefs fandom right now because of all the success we're having. But, I mean, every time I got a haircut as a kid, the barber would bring up the Red Sox. And it wasn't the Red Sox. Like, how about them Bo Sox? I mean, it is part of the culture, and they're so close. And last night just means a lot for a whole region.
I'm not qualified to answer this because I didn't watch the Celtics a lot this year. But a lot of the talking heads today, JB, were trying to convince, I guess, their viewers that this team is better than the Bird-McHale
not even
teams.
No, that in '86, Walton, Bird, Chief, DJ, Kevin, they went 50-1 at home. It's not even close. That is so absurd. That team dominated. Now, this team dominated. It's a totally different era. The game's played totally differently. But there was one night in '86 when Bird, at the end of a West Coast trip, is bored. Like, they're just beating everybody so badly. He's like, guys, our final game of the trip is in Portland tomorrow night. I'm going to play left-handed. And they're like, what are you talking about? He tells the media, I'm playing left-handed. Like, and so at the end of 3 quarters, every shot he had made was left-handed. He had like 32 points, and he pulled himself out of the game. They're up by like 18, which back then was a big lead. And his comment coming off the floor was, I've done enough damage tonight. I mean, it's just like it was an absolute mismatch. That was one of the greatest passing teams ever, arguably the greatest team of all time, certainly in the conversation, and better than what we saw last night. But this team is special.
That's my gut, too. I'm like, okay, they're good, and yes, they breezed through the playoffs, and they won a bunch of games in the end, and terrific on the road. It didn't matter where they played, but, man, the Bird-McHale, that was, to me, a special, special group.
If you're kind of low, now and then you're feeling kind of low, just YouTube 86 Celts and just watch the artistry, the passing. Just watch a quarter of any of those finals games against the Rockets. Anyway, to me, and there's nothing like the spot Boston fans have for that team. I mean, Walton. I mean, we love Cedric Maxwell, but he was kind of on the outs with Red Auerbach at the time, so he got traded for Walton. And Walton to come back and resurrect his career, and then who he was after. He was the greatest ambassador ever for the 86 Celts, because Bill Walton, up until about a month ago, sadly, tragically, his favorite topic was talking about the 86 Celts. So whenever he would go anywhere, whenever he was interviewed, it was Larry and Chief, and so we got this running commentary for another 30 years about how special that group was, and he's the greatest player of all time in Portland Trailblazer history. I mean, he's in the conversation for greatest college player of all time. Bill Walton had a lot of that was his year, and he never stopped complimenting how great that team was. Yeah, that was, I think, a better team than what we saw last night. But what we saw this whole last year was special. I mean, they they lost 3 games in the whole playoffs. They won more than they won out of they played 100 games and they won 81. I mean, I think they lost like 19 or so games. The whole including the postseason. Yeah, they were very dominant.
Yeah, very well. John Baylor with us tonight. We're going to have some fun over the next couple of hours. There's a great documentary on Netflix about Bill Russell, and it's really well done. It's a 2-part series. I'd encourage people, if you love the Celtics or you love basketball at all, Bill Russell was such a monumental guy for the game. So you haven't been in the Boston area for what, 35, 40 years, and yet you've kept your fandom.
Oh, yeah, it's like being a Husker fan. Doesn't matter where you go. I mean, how many people on the internet listen to you on Saturdays from Asia? I mean, from Europe. I mean, it's really comparable in that way. I mean, I used to say it built great character to grow up in the 70s in Lincoln, Nebraska, in the Boston area, because every year we were so competitive. And back then we broke our hearts were broken. And then it continued on into the 80s, and except for those Lowry years, those 3 titles in the 80s for the Celtics. So it was just great being a sports fan and being an athlete growing up in that era, cheering for and then like Husker fans can empathize. I mean, when the team broke through 60-3 over 5 years with the with the national championships back to back and 3 titles in the 90s and 60-3, that's kind of the way it felt when Larry broke through, but absolutely when Tom Brady broke through and suddenly the Red Sox started winning. Then it's just like, oh my goodness, this is completely uncharted territory.
Yeah, once they broke the curse of the Bambino, they were off and running with the Red Sox for that. John Baylor with us. Hey, here's what we have on the program tonight. Chris Kabourek, the interim president for the University of Nebraska, will be by here in just a couple minutes. We're looking forward to hearing from him. He's got about 10, 12 days left, and then the reins of the university will be handed over to Dr. Jeffrey Gold, who begins his tenure as Nebraska's president on July the 1st. Currently the chancellor at UNMC, but Chris Kabourek's coming in to talk. JB's going to have a fun time talking with him. You want to be a part of the program, our text line's open for you, 402-413-2400. Jessica's actually out rounding up some football interviews. They're making some of the guys on the team available. She's going to be back in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll hear from somebody. Not sure who she's grabbed yet, but we'll hear from somebody as they're kind of doing an in-house media day today for Husker football.
What else are they doing? What else are they doing? Just working out like crazy?
Oh, they're working out like crazy every day. 74 days
if they're
until
not,
kickoff.
You got Husker fans trudging down in the basement. They go to the limestone wall, and they just scratch off one more day. Tomorrow it'll be 73.
How about that? Oh, and people are probably pulling those numbers off their garage doors with that thing there. Well, I have time to tell you, Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocer partner of Husker Athletics and your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. Back with more Sports Nightly, back with more JB coming up.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting Major Macy Byers with Campus News. A surgical robot developed by UNL professor Shane Ferreter has received FDA approval, paving the way for greater access to advanced medical procedures in rural areas. The FDA approval followed a successful test of the robot aboard the International Space Station in February. The test involved months of preparation for UNL faculty and students working in close collaboration with NASA to launch and deliver the robot.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, springtime in Sharpe County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSharpe.com.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, delighted to be joined in studio by John Baylor tonight. And then we're going to have Chris Kabourek coming up here in just a couple of minutes, the interim president for the University of Nebraska. I want to talk about. By the way, have you submitted a name for the horse yet, for Coach Cook's horse? Have you
I kind of like
that
numbers.
contest?
I think he goes by 415. I just going to keep it at that. And I don't want to confuse the guy. I mean, he's still trying to figure out how to trot and chase and carry around Coach Cook, and so Coach Cook can rope. And so I just think if he's used to 415, you don't want to confuse people midlife.
How many years, JB, now for you on the volleyball broadcast?
This will be my 31st coming up this fall. I started in middle school.
I believe it. You know, Matt Coatney and I have always marveled. We're like, you know, how do you perfect the craft of calling that sport? And you have done that.
Aww.
How did you take me back to when you first got asked to do it? Was it we're in the mid 90s at this point in time, right?
1994. I found out, I think, late that spring, or actually maybe middle of that summer. First match was at Purdue in their old rec center. And I spent the whole match talking about we're on the banks of the, oh, man, what's the river that goes through?
Is it the Lafayette River?
No, it's the, I can't think of the name of it. It goes through West Lafayette. But anyway, I was raw. And and I think every time the Huskers had a point, I said, count it. So there's a lot of counting going on. Like people had their abacuses out. So, the whole kaboom stuff, that started maybe 10 years ago. So, you got to reinvent things. You know, you don't want to get stuck. So, how about you, Greg? What were you like in your early days when you broke into this play-by-play?
You know, I think for me, it was something I wanted to do as a young kid.
Sure.
So I did everything in college, student radio station, that type of thing. Anywhere I could go call a game, I did. And then I kind of flipped into the TV side of things for a few years and got away from the radio. But the love has always been the radio part of it. And, you know, you've worked with some tremendous sidekicks. Lauren's your current one now. You guys have a great chemistry together. But and the sport has changed so much. Once you got the rally scoring, that was a big shift in college volleyball when they made that change, wasn't it?
2001, in those first 5 or 6 years, they would play to 30 each set. It just went on too long. And it was just like, it would be like 18, 14. It's just too long a journey left. 25 really adds drama, and then it makes it a little bit more of a bite-sized piece and more predictable as far as time, which is what TV always wants. So like around 07, I believe, is when they went to the shortened 25-point sets, and I think we got a really good product now. But yeah, back in the old days, the best athletes usually played middle because serving was less effective, and balls were easier to pass unless you were in system more often. So middles had the ball and were attacking more often. So the great athletes like Allison Weston, she played middle. Whereas now you got, Lauren Stivrins is an aberration where you have like one of your best athletes playing middle. And I think if she were to come through now, Lauren would probably demand to play on the outside where they just get a lot more activity. And, right now, Andy Jackson is a phenomenal athlete, and she plays middle in part, I think, because she came to the sport late. Right now, because teams are so often out of system, the pin hitters have such a bigger impact, because when you're out of system, the setter's scrambling, just the geometry doesn't work for a set off into the middle where the geometry, the angles do work for outside. So the sport has become much more pin hitter centric. And you've got to be able to scramble and win long rallies because so often you're out of system. But it's just great to see the country finally realizing what Nebraskans have known for a long time. Volleyball is a fabulous spectator sport.
It's growing by leaps and bounds. I wanted to ask you, because you've been to so many Final Fours, and That's amazing because of the Nebraska program. How have the Final Fours changed from the first one you went to the one in Tampa 6 months ago?
First one I went to is 1995. Huskers win the title. That was in Amherst, Massachusetts. Of course, today you'd never have it in a place like that. And the reason it was situated there that year was they were honoring the location where the sport was founded. Somehow it was founded in central Massachusetts. So we did it there. And for the most part, our only fans were the coaches. There's always a coaches convention still to this day that centers around the Final Four, a time when the coaches can relax and connect and renew old friendships. And so it was not particularly well attended. I remember that first Final Four, for me at least, the fourth ever for Nebraska at the time. It was Little Red's debut. And at the time, like so many things with Husker Athletics, Little Red was a trailblazer, this puffed out mascot. And the coaches loved him. Like you could hear the audible laughter every time he would just walk around or jump around or go on his head. And so that was part of it. But the media coverage was a fraction of what it is today. The TV was, there was coverage, but it was on remote, high-digit cable channels, and we've come a long way.
Sure have. And just the scenes we saw from Tampa with the team walking through throngs of Husker fans to even get into the arena, I'm not even sure that was happening 10 years ago, but it certainly is now.
2017 in Kansas City, it was absolutely happening. So I guess that was 7 years. I mean, it's been, it's the last championship was, 7 seasons ago. That was Husker, that was Coliseum or Devaney East and South down in Kansas City that year. In 2016, we were in Columbus. We had a lot of fans there. We had a ton of fans in 2021 in Columbus. You're right. Yeah, there you go. Same location. 2016 we're in Columbus. 2021 we're in Columbus for the volleyball Final Four. And the number of Husker fans at least had tripled, probably like fivefold bigger.
You mentioned the Coliseum. I know Coach Cook was really nervous about that move. He had to be convinced by Tom Osborne that this is going to be a good thing. We're going to make Devaney a nice, cozy home for volleyball. We can get more people through the doors and in the building and watch your program. Were you apprehensive at all about making that move?
A little bit. Yeah, that was the greatest home court advantage.
Yeah.
In sport is saying a lot. You got some great ones out there, Cameron and Allen Fieldhouse. But I kind of equate it with a place you know well, and that is Mike Ahern Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
And for K-State to leave Mike Ahern Fieldhouse, I think, is something that they regret. I don't know the latest, but I felt that was the case 15 years ago when they went to Bramlage, that big tin can, and you just never could recreate the energy in this. I can't imagine, those great K-State teams playing in Ahern, because in volleyball you only had half the facility, and it still was loud in there. Really loud. So for basketball, I remember Orlando Blackman playing there. I mean, it must have been, I've got to watch videos someday. Just the sound must have been just deafening. Anyway, that's what I equated it to a little bit. And it was a little bit after K-State basketball had left for Bramlage. Lon Kruger wanted to make the move. And at the time, I don't think they thought it was a good decision. I'm not sure where things stand now. Anyway, thank goodness we did. Not because, we all miss the Coliseum, but just to grow the game. Can you imagine 4,200 seats available for a Husker volleyball match? I mean, it's nuts with 8,500 seats available to get in that building. But 4,200, it would create such a supply and demand disconnect. The black market would be wild.
Still maybe the hottest ticket in Lincoln is to try to get through the doors of the Devaney Center. So I don't think I've ever asked you about what you thought about that move. Has it been 10 years?
Yeah, well, it was 2013 was the first season, so it's been more than 10 years. But it was a big risk. And it cost some dough. It was $20 million to renovate the Devaney.
Right.
And it had to happen then, because otherwise they were going to reconfigure it for gymnastics and track. And so it was kind of a now or never deal. And you had something that was status quo that really was working well and was a great gem. And you knew Nebraska would be competitive in that building forever. But, and furthermore, the Devaney, when it was a basketball arena, wasn't always the greatest home court advantage. That was not, it would get loud there in the Danny Nee years, but you really had to have a big game. And so, could volleyball, even though it was going to be, shrunk a little bit, generate that level of noise. Here's the other thing too: is Nebraska volleyball every other year would play a match. Sometimes about every year would play a match in Devaney. It was never close to the Coliseum as far as home court advantage, energy, or sound. In part because it was the old basketball design, so part of it was the engineering, the re-engineering of the Devaney that made it work so much. But I think there's so many reasons for the growth of Nebraska volleyball, but the Coliseum is right in the middle of that conversation.
No doubt.
Leaving the
Tom
Coliseum.
Baylor with us. JB with us here tonight on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse Auto Family. They are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. All right, I'm going to step aside. JB's going to talk to the Interim President Chris Kabourek. That conversation coming up next.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975, and now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. Computer science student Luke Ferreter won a global competition for being the first to decode passages from an ancient scroll. Using advanced AI, Ferreter became the first in centuries to reveal words from a Greek scroll damaged in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 2,000 years ago. The Lincoln native earned a $700,000 cash prize and international recognition for his achievements.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs' features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Greetings, Nebraska. Welcome back, Sports Nightly. There's Cole Hartman. How that young man stays single, no one will. Well, we just don't know. But he's here. He's running the dials. And my name's John Baylor, sitting in for the great Greg Sharpe, who'll be back next hour. Stay with us. Jessica Cootie's out there getting all these exclusive with her football players. She'll be bringing in tape. So stick around for hour number 2. And with us is the interim president of the entire University of Nebraska system. This isn't just UNL. It's 4 campuses. And his name is Chris Kabourek. President Kabourek, thanks again for joining us.
John, it's great to talk to Greg and Jessica, and I got to meet Matt Coatney and my idol, Kent Pavelka, but now at the cherry on top tonight, to get to talk to legendary John Baylor is my absolute pleasure to be here.
Well, are you a big volleyball guy? You got to be.
Absolutely. My wife makes us turn on the radio broadcast every time it's on TV.
And synchronize it.
She's more excited that I'm here than I am. So.
And you've been at the university system 27 years.
Yeah, I've listened to you come driving in. I think I started in middle school too. So this is my 27th year. It's just been an absolute blast and a great journey, and it's such a wonderful place to work. It's been an absolute pleasure.
And 20 years with the leadership team, and you've been the CFO effectively for the University of Nebraska system for like more than 20 years.
About a little less than the last decade, yeah. But okay. I've been in the financial aspect of the university for more than 20 years.
And interim pres, and then you're turning it over the reins at the end of this month.
End of this month, I'm working right now with Dr. Jeff Gold, who's the chancellor at UNMC currently, and he'll be taking the seat on July 1, and really looking forward to working with Jeff, and it's going to be a seamless transition, and can't wait to work with him and his team on moving this great institution forward.
Well, people want to hear about sports, and you're a huge sports guy. You're a basketball official. I got to talk about that, but we may not have time for this. So scholarships are a big deal in my mind, because we got to take all these great Nebraska young men and women, make them realize how great an opportunity the University of Nebraska system is, and not just Lincoln. You got Kearney, and you got Omaha, of course. And you guys are throwing money at these kids to make sure it's going to be affordable.
Well, one of the goals I had at the interim were two pretty simple things. One, I really wanted to reconnect the university with all Nebraska. We have some great campuses. We're obviously very connected: Lincoln, Omaha, Kearney, Curtis, and some other institutions. But I grew up in Davis City, Nebraska, rural Nebraska. I go home a lot. People say, "What does this university mean to me?" And it means have you been to your doctor? Probably a good chance they've been trained at UNMC. Yeah. Do you drive on our highways and bridges? Good chance our engineers.
You run a business. You're looking for employees. We don't have a lot of great ones.
Exactly.
They're probably going to be educated at the University of Nebraska.
And our school system. Probably a good chance that one of the teachers and administrators came from the University of Nebraska. So the University of Nebraska touches every corner of this state. And, and so that was one goal. Really wanted to reconnect with all Nebraskans, urban, rural, north, south, east, west, wherever you're at. But, some of this was personal. I have my oldest he just finished his first year at UNO, so I kind of went through the process as a parent last year, and quite candidly, to get to the point, John, we were, sometimes still are, getting out-competed. We have places like Alabama, Tulsa, Mississippi, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, coming after our 5-star academic athletes, our student academics. And so our team kind of went to, that shouldn't happen. We understand there's going to be, not everybody's going to stay, but we shouldn't get out-competed for our own best and brightest. And that really was the genesis of the Presidential Scholar Program, which is our most prestigious scholarship program. It offers a full total cost of attendance, so tuition, housing, books, living expenses, and we even give you a $5,000 cash.
You're getting paid.
You're getting paid. But really, what we found out, what our goal was, and I think we're seeing this, is we want to bring fun and excitement back to academics. We see this in athletics. You have the 5 stars, the 4 stars. You have the volleyball player who's got the Husker hat and the Texas hat and the Wisconsin hat. Which one she's going to pick? And so why don't we take a page out of that playbook?
Love it.
I talked to Coach Rule, Amy Williams, Fred Hoiberg, John Cook, and pick their brains. How do you recruit these young people? Because we should be doing the same thing for our academic all-stars. And so the President's Scholar, right now it's only for students who get that perfect 36 ACT. But we're excited because I think we're going to hopefully, depending on, this is still dependent on Board of Regents action on next Thursday with our budget, but we're hoping to expand that very quickly to, if you have a 32 or above, will it be an application process. We still want to incentivize those perfect 36s because you're an automatic qualifier. And we've heard from a number of kids saying, hey, I got a 34, I went back and got that 36, and, what a great ROI. I know you're big on this, but over your 4-year career, that President's Scholar is worth over $120,000. So, we want to start incentivizing kids to work really hard, roll up their sleeves, do really good at academics, and we've just had a phenomenal response to the program so far.
And right now, teachers are having a tough time. We got a shortage of them, and they don't often get praised enough. And they're on the front lines and make such a difference in our culture, possibly the most important job in our culture. To see their best students rewarded like the high school coaches see their best athletes rewarded, I think can have a pretty positive trickle-down effect.
Yeah, I'm going to steal this from Governor Pillen, but, I heard him talk. He said, what are the handful of people you always remember in your life? Your parents, your grandparents, your aunts or uncles, but it's also a teacher, a coach. And, that's one of the things we're really proud about the President's Scholar, because there's a lot of good scholarships out there for engineers or math majors or computer science. But our scholarship's open to anything. And we're really excited. We actually have one young woman who's going to come to UNL next semester, and she wants to be a teacher. And she obviously didn't want to take on a lot of debt, so she was looking at offers out of state because they're giving more scholarship. But she's going to be right here now at UNL. She's right here from Lincoln Southeast, and so she has a passion to answer that call to go be that mentor for the next generation of kids. So, what a great tangent story to what the President's Scholar can do for a young person.
Interim President Chris Kabourek visiting with us on Sports Nightly tonight. My name's John Baylor. I'm in for Greg Sharpe. And absolutely all Nebraskans, with any sort of analysis would realize this is an economic engine. It's called the University of Nebraska. But we got to make sure that they appreciate it. To what extent is the logo, the helmets, the volleyball important in creating this appreciation, not just nationally? I mean, when I travel, why do people know about the University of Nebraska in my home state? Nebraska football and the College World Series, in that order. But how important is it to the brand and to the magnet that it is and needs to be for all the Nebraskans that this athletic program thrives?
Yeah, we like to talk a lot about how athletics is the front door to most, not even alumni, but to the university. But you nailed it. I mean, when I travel as well, you have that big red N on your chest. Everybody's like, go Big Red.
GBR.
GBR. And so it's immensely, the brand power is immense. And that really hit front and center to me when we went through the athletic director search and the immense amount of interest we had in the job, just because people were attracted to the brand and what it represents, doing things the right way, rolling up our sleeves, Midwestern hard work. People were attracted to that. So, I get asked the question a long time, what's the importance of the Big Ten? We've had very public statements about getting back to the American Association of Universities, AAU. University of Nebraska right now we have 18 new members, was adding UCLA and USC and Oregon and Washington. There are now 18 incredible institutions in the Big Ten. There's only one that's not in the AAU, and that's Nebraska, and that's not right. We should not accept that, and so that's why we've been very public from the Board of Regents, from Dr. Gold, myself, that we're going to do everything we can to get back into it because, that brand is powerful, and not only from an athletic standpoint, but it allows us to attract, a different type of faculty member, a different type of research grants, and all that added together adds values to our students' degrees. But it adds value to Nebraska. We are a national player, being in the Big Ten, and so I have never been a zero-sum game that an investment in athletics is taking away something from academics. They truly are hand in hand, and and we will work together, and they complement each other very, very well. So we're going to continue to invest in both the academic side and the athletic side.
You do hear quibblings, maybe a little nostalgia now and then for the old days in the Big 8 even, but certainly the Big 12. You lived it professionally, 27 years since 2018, CFO for the university system interim president Kabourek. What has the Big Ten meant beyond athletics to the university system?
Yeah, we don't probably publicize this enough, but there's so much that goes on outside of athletics in Big Ten. There's a whole academic consortium where our faculty and our researchers are working with other Big Ten faculty and researchers on collaboration, on research grants and research projects. We all get to share library materials. I think I heard the other day, between the Big Ten institutions, it's like the third largest collection of library materials in the world outside the U.S. government and maybe Great Britain's government. So we could go into the whole on the medical research side and the cancer research, all the great things, partnerships going on there. So maybe not a lot of things that our average Nebraskan doesn't see, but behind the scenes at the university, we know how important those relationships are. And like I said, people are attracted, we were talking about brands, people are attracted to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Faculty want to work and teach and research at a Big Ten institution. No offense to our non-Big Ten peers in the region, but being a member of the Big Ten certainly puts us on a pedestal above many of our peers in the region.
We're being equated with Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, Minnesota. I mean, these are some of the finest public universities in the country, and Nebraska's side by side in a conference which Stanford tried and couldn't get into.
Or Cal Berkeley. And we are adding 4 more incredible ones. Washington, Oregon, UCLA, USC. And the great thing is, we work well together. I've gotten the pleasure over the last 6 months to work with the presidents and chancellors of each of those institutions. Navigating our way to a very tumultuous time in college athletics with NIL and the antitrust settlements and all that, but it's a very impressive group, very collaborative, very congenial. So we're really proud to be a member of the Big Ten.
Tough question, Chris Kabourek. I just am so impressed that you officiate youth basketball on the side. We don't have a lot of time. Can you synthesize this for us? In the years you've been officiating, how have parents changed? Just during the games, what you see and experience while officiating.
A lot of people want to say it's worse than it was. It's just the level of passion. I would say it does the lower level. So I work a lot of college ball, a lot of high school, a little bit of youth. And the lower you go, everybody's still the next LeBron James or the next Caitlin Clark. And so, but overall, I understand it's passionate. Your job as an official is not a lot different than being a president. Your job is to absorb chaos, provide some calm, and provide some hope for those players and those athletes and their coaches going forward. So it's been a great training ground. I hope to keep doing it, and I really love the game.
Interim President Chris Kabourek, University of Nebraska System. Pleasure. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, JB.
More Sports Nightly when we continue. Stay right there.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. What a great interview, JB. I could listen to Chris talk. I mean, he just is fascinating.
And there's hope. He did not condemn parents. Like, he's saying parents are kind of parents. They're a little more passionate perhaps than they've been in the past. That's great to hear. And I now, I've got a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old myself. I'm going to a lot of youth basketball. I think the parents are fairly well behaved. So that's reassuring to hear. Isn't that cool? You have an interim president. Everyone's like, trying to be nice to him and get along with everything. And he's out there, running the baseline to the half court during the games. And coaches are saying that was a block, that was a charge. And parents, I just think that's great. It keeps your mind sharp, keeps you mixing with the masses. And that's really cool stuff. I'm thrilled that his employer, University of Nebraska, allows him to still do that. Because we're short on teachers. What else are we short on? Officials. Oh, Greg, you know this. What's something that is true about officials and sportscasters? Everybody thinks they can do it better.
They can do it. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it was fascinating. Love hearing from him. Love the idea of the 5-star academic person, the 4-star academic person. I think that's a great twist on that and gives them the rightful recognition they deserve.
We want the chemistry kid to feel as good as the offensive tackle. And now, to get to class, they have to walk by all these sports trophies, and sometimes they're thinking, well, what about me? And sometimes Shirley pays a little more attention to the quarterback than to the biology kid. But Shirley will figure it out. Trust me, biology and chemistry kids, time is your ally. One thing about future engineers, you're like a fine wine, improving with time. Because when you're dating, you got to say, hey, unemployment, probably not an issue in my future.
Woodhouse Auto Family. They are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. And Husker fans, go check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for that totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks on hundreds of in-store and online items. Score big. Hy-Vee.com/perks. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. JB, you good to hang around for a little bit more?
Yeah, is Jessica coming back? I mean, what is she doing? She's like Dan Rather out there. These interviews are never going to end. Is she coming? Hopefully she'll come back.
We'll have her on the other side.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the Trail-Tamin 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln. Good evening. I'm Cole Hartman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Earlier today, the Nebraska men's and women's basketball teams announced matchups at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. The Husker women will play South Dakota on Saturday, November 16th, and the men will play St. Mary's Sunday, November 17th. In a statement, Nebraska women's basketball head coach Amy Williams said, quote, "We are excited to take our team to play at the Sanford Pentagon for the first time. It is an incredible basketball venue, and it will be a great environment against a great opponent. We are also looking forward to seeing lots of Husker fans there to support us," end quote. Nebraska softball picked up another transfer late last night from another Nebraska native. Casey Hoffman comes to the Huskers from Arkansas, where she played in 106 games. She had 15 home runs and 47 RBIs for the Razorbacks and will have 2 years of eligibility remaining. Keeping with Husker softball, Nebraska shortstop Billy Andrews was named a second-team academic All-American by College Sports Communicators earlier this afternoon. Andrews is the first Husker softball player to be an academic All-American since 2016, and she is the first Husker to be recognized as an All-American and academic All-American in the same season since Kim Ogie in 2002. Earlier today, Husker track and field star Rima Oteba was one of 10 track and field athletes across the NCAA to be a semifinalist for the Bowerman. The Bowerman is the highest track and field accolade given annually to the most outstanding male and female athletes. On June 24th, 3 men and 3 women will be named finalists, and then the award will be presented on December 19th. Finally, the College World Series continued play in Omaha today as Florida State defeated North Carolina 9-5. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is coming up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Here come the Razorbacks, bumping over the left. Gillen, she's stopped. Rick Allen, block number 11 for the team 16. They're body bumping in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz, knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Called strike 3. Breaking ball outside corner. Make it an even 10 for McConaughey, and the Hoosiers leave 2 more here in the top of the 7th.
Now the 3-2, and Bredwell swings and hammers it deep center field. She's gone! Home run, Eva Bredwell, and a 2-0 lead for the Cornhuskers.
Tominaga with 9, 8, 7, starts down the right side, goes to the right sideline, 4 seconds, step back, 30-footer. Got it! Unbelievable! I don't believe what I just saw. Tominaga knocks it home.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and John Baylor on the Huskers Radio Network.
Yeah, it's such a treat for us tonight to have JB in the house. We're going to hear from Thomas Fidone. Jessica's out doing some interviews with some football guys. We're going to hear from him later on in the hour. This is a guy you've been excited about. He's got to stay healthy, right?
Oh, Thomas Fidone coming out of Council Bluffs. He came out of Council Bluffs. Help me. It's the high school. Not
is it Abraham Lincoln?
No, it wasn't Abe Lincoln. It wasn't Thomas Jefferson. Is it Lewis and Clark? I think it's Lewis and Clark High School.
I think that's right.
Anyway, everybody wanted the guy. Can he ever meet his potential? How many years does he have left? 2 more seasons?
He's got two left.
Okay.
Yeah. He had some touchdown catches last year. I think he's really just scratched the surface, but he could be a huge weapon for this team. And I think Nebraska's going to have more guys that can get him the ball. That's part of it, too.
Nice point. And he's a big target, big, tall target.
Huge. Huge.
I mean, I hear ACLs these days are not as bad as they used to be because of medical progress, and they're not as bad as meniscus tears.
Right.
You know, the ACLs are the big, they're not good, but apparently they're not quite as career-threatening as like meniscus tears can be, or rotator cuffs can be, or Achilles can be. So let's hope Thomas can get back. A great guy, tons of potential, and tall and lanky. Let's just get. Do we have anybody who can sling the ball?
I think we do.
We might.
I think we got a couple young freshman
Nice.
quarterbacks who are going to do that. Speaking of injuries, and I've had people text me and go, "You guys going to talk a little volleyball?" I go, okay, so
Let's do it.
I want to talk a little. Lindsey Krause's injury last fall. How tough was that? How damaging was that for the Huskers through the end of the season?
Huge. She was hitting, 366 in her prior 5 matches. She was going to be a second-team All-American if she had just stayed on that trajectory, and she was only getting better. This is one of the most decorated players in the history of high school volleyball in this sport. 4 consecutive Class B titles at Omaha Scott, number 2 recruit in the country, finally getting her chance in her conventional position. She had sacrificed for 2 years and played right side. And she was just building and getting better, hitting almost 400 in her prior 5 matches. And then in just an everyday drill and practice, something happened, stepped on an ankle or something. And boy, we were traveling later that day, or I think it was the next day, and she really struggled on crutches to get up into the airplane, up the stairs. And I thought, oh boy, this is not just your run-of-the-mill ankle problem. And she never played again, and it really showed. I mean, Allie was a great player, but Lindsey had more time at least last year, and Lindsey's just powerful. I mean, I'd go to war with her anytime. So we didn't know it on that day when that little injury happened, but it was a bit comparable to Kenzie Knuckles the year prior. We got back-to-back seasons, Greg, when the trajectory of seasons and national championships are suddenly threatened because of serious injuries. And you go back, you got to go back to the late 90s, I think, to find a serious season-altering injury to a Husker.
Kenzie's happened in the last week, right? Lindsey's was a little bit earlier in November.
All right, I was in a good mood, but you just brought this up, so I
think that's right.
I'm going to have to watch YouTube video of the '86 Celtics to get over this conversation. But all right, so Kenzie and the Huskers are getting ready for the final week of the season. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it's one of these little drills she did every day in practice her whole career, and she damaged her knee. And I think she's still having issues with it. But that's how serious it was. Anyway, that team 2 years ago against mighty Oregon had 4 match point chances without Kenzie. I think it's pretty clear we win that match with her. Because when you lose Kenzie, everyone, 3 players had different roles, right? So even though it might be for the most part the same personnel, everyone's doing something different. So everyone's altered. Then you play Louisville. And Louisville had 1 loss the whole year, but we would have matched up really well with them and scared the heck out of them, and they would have been the favorite with all the pressure. So then maybe you pull the upset on Louisville, which is, John Cook's specialty that time of year. Then you got Texas in the Final Four in Omaha. So you can see why I'm suddenly in a bad mood.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Those things
Scratched
happen.
that scab a little too early. Crypto King wants to know if you think the captains will be the same in 2024 as they were in 2023, and that was what, Lexi and Merritt?
Well, first of all, stay away from crypto. I don't know what's going on with that whole deal, but I know it's way up since everything FTX went up, belly up a year and a half ago, but I don't know what's going on with that deal.
You remember that's Kenny King, right?
Jessica's here.
Hey, everybody, I'm here, by the way.
Jessica just got back from his exclusive Nebraska football player. Kenny King, the former Oklahoma Sooner.
So we talked about this the last time you were on.
All right, Kenny, stay away from crypto because that NFL pension doesncan last forever. It doesn't go on. Anyway, what's my point? Oh, it's captains. Yeah, I think you got the same 2 captains. Yep.
You maybe add Bergen?
I was just going to say you might add one. We've had 3 in years past. So Merritt's one of the great leaders ever, and named a captain before she ever played for the team, and so we've got. I think you might add Bergen because she's a leader on the floor. She's a lot more vocal now than she's ever been. She's out there for every rally. I think maybe you add one more, or you go with the same 2.
You mentioned Bergen. JB, you've covered it for 30 years. She's got a chance, I think, to be in the top 2 or 3 setters of all time in Nebraska. Now, maybe I'm putting too much heat on her after just 1 year, but what she did last year.
Yep.
She's good.
Yeah, she's really special. And volleyball aficionados marvel at her even more so than the rest of us who just watch and know she's really good. But yeah, she does the little things. She slings it all over the court. She can make average passes into great sets. You can run your offense off of average passes, and most setters can't do that. You got to have a perfect pass to run your offense. Otherwise, you're just sending high balls to the pins. So she is really special, and she was a little quiet last year, and as the year evolved, so did she, and became much more vocal. Yeah, she, Lexi, Merritt, can you imagine not having Rebecca Alec as a captain? I mean, she's been a leader since day one as a freshman, but we're not even bringing her up as a. There's so many leaders on the floor. Andy Jackson is maturing before our eyes. That's not our problem. We've had issues in years past where it's like, who's going to be the leader? I remember one year, I think it was 19. I mean, the coach basically had a leadership school all spring because we weren't sure who the leaders were going to be that spring. There is no lack of great leadership on this year's team.
Jessica, take me back to the first time you interviewed Bergen, and I think you came away going, wow, she's a little shy, a little timid. I think she has, obviously she's matured a year away from home. You're going to do that naturally. But your first impressions of Bergen when you talked to her last, I guess would have been last spring.
I just thought she was really impressive. I mean, she just seems so mature beyond her age already.
Precocious.
I just think she was so kind of had a different kind of mindset than typical freshman. And that whole freshman class was really impressive. But I think for her, you could tell that just how she approaches things, and she just is on a whole nother level, mentally, maturity, all of that. And she doesn't get too high or low, right? And that was one thing that we heard about her going back to high school, is that was one of her strengths, is that she's really even-keeled. She doesn't get too caught up in the moment, whether it's good or bad. And so I think that's how she interviews, too. She just stays right there, even-keeled.
Your older sister played, when you were a younger sister with a great athlete as an older sibling, that can help. She played on the national team for a couple weeks and in a tournament when they were just out of setters, not the under-21 national team, not the under-18 national team. Of course, she played on those teams. She was actually the setter for the national team before she ever got here, but she was a high school student. So she had international experience that was very unusual before she arrived. I look to see her become more vocal, more of a leader, yanking the players in when they're struggling, and really being a voice. I mean, Lexi's a fabulous leader. I think she might do more of that as well this year, especially the way last year ended, and Merritt might as well. I think I'm confident there is going to be a kind of a mission that you're going to see on the faces, a sense of mission and purpose this year, even beyond last year.
Because they're all so kind and sweet, but right, you sometimes gotta be a little fiery, right, and challenge your teammates.
Yeah, Madison Skinner for Texas, was really aggressive, and we need to respond not just physically but maybe emotionally at times with that. You're right. We got a lot of nice kids. I remember. Some years we had a lot of nice kids, and I'd say, hey, pretend that, I think, Wisconsin's saying bad things about your mom. I don't know, but I think there's, we got to get guys really ticked off, so you got to, but we love them in part for that reason. But yeah, there are moments that you've got to respond in kind and maybe with a little tenacity and attitude. And with Becca Alec, I think we've got the makings for that.
Yeah, she's got that little gene in her that can fire things up a little bit. Kenlin down in Florida texted in and said, JB, I always sync your volleyball audio to BTN. Your great play-by-play call has ruined it for me to do it any other way. I've tried to listen to other volleyball announcers for games and find it difficult to do that. You are the best. There you go.
I love it when relatives listen.
Did you ever, at any point when you started calling volleyball, think, oh, wow, this is really fast?
Yes.
Yeah, because it is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great. You have to edit. You You can't call it's like hockey. You can't call every touch. And then the other key, just to help out many of my competitors out there, you got to announce the name of the school that is in possession of the ball. So Huskers have it, set at the outside, attacked by Lindsay. Doug, Wisconsin's got it. They set middle. So name of player last, name of team first. So that way you can picture it. I think that's pretty important. That's important for hockey, but baseball as well. I mean, sometimes I'm not sure, who's pitching, who's, what team, who's like. I mean, I'm kind of a throwback on this, but unless it's ground ball to Jeter, I want to know where and what team first. I'll take the name last.
All right, we're rapidly running out of time in this segment, but I got to get your thoughts on Taylor Landfair. That's probably the biggest get in the portal for Nebraska. I know she wasn't here in the spring, but you've seen plenty of her in her playing days with the Gophers. What kind of players Nebraska getting there, JB?
We don't know. Hopefully it's the Taylor Landfair of 2022, when she was the best player in the Big Ten. 2023, brand new coach. They've got change. I'm not sure she always responded particularly well. And so Lexi vouches for her. Lexi played with her in high school, knows her very well. She's she's got incredible potential. And Nebraska has a way of taking Kelsey Robinson's and making them amazing players, taking Brianna Holman's, and you put on the jersey and you enter this culture and you're just your best self. And so I think whatever happened in Minnesota doesn't matter. And she's going to get a fresh start. And with all those skills, this could be really something special. I mean, one of the great players in Big Ten history, suddenly a Husker with 2 seasons of eligibility left. So it remains to be seen. If it doesn't work out well, I'll be surprised.
Well, I know people are certainly excited. I think the red-white scrimmage is already sold out. That'll be here before you know it. You're coming back, I think, tomorrow night. I want to talk tomorrow night a little bit about the Supernovas. I mean, you've kind of got a second career going now with this pro team in Omaha.
You're kind of. I did call 9 games, but you're very kind to say I've got a second career based on 9 games. Yeah, I mean, you gotta check yourself in the mirror. I mean, I had to, brush my hair, and there was no fashion or makeup consultant, so that was kind of obvious at times. But no, it's fun. The thing, you've done a lot of TV, and I've done a little bit a long time ago. But I think it's a great product. The energy in there. I mean, 11,000 fans on weekends, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 fans a night on weeknights in the spring for a team with basically no Huskers. I mean, Gina Mancuso barely played. So this was a full embrace of the sport, sure, but a caliber of play that and a hometown team that I think surprised some people. I don't think volleyball fans locally were all that surprised, but I think nationally they realized, wow, this is not just a Husker phenomenon. This is a volleyball and a state and a region. I mean, 12,000 fans one night at CHI for a weekend match. It was just really, really special, and they present the sport of volleyball so well. I think the Supernovas are here for a long time, and it was just a joy to have a small role and be able to describe what I saw.
Great stuff. JB, appreciate you coming in. We'll look forward to talking again tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, fired up. Thanks, all.
There he is, John Baylor, with us for this part of the program. Sharpe County, where great food, drink, shopping, concerts, and fun await you. Stay, play, and plan your getaway at GoSharpe.com. Jessica rejoins me next.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Connor Clark with Campus News. For the 7th straight year, the University of Nebraska system is a top 100 patent-earning institution in the world. NU researchers were granted 46 patents in 2023, ranking the university at number 55 nationally, ahead of Big Ten schools like Michigan State and Penn State.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Husker fans, springtime in Sharpe County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSharpe.com.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same. Delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Elevate your drive with Woodhouse Buick. Plus, with our current offers going on now, you'll save even more. Lease a 2024 Buick Enclave Essence for $495 a month for 36 months, 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit. Must finance with GM Financial. Must currently own or lease a 2019 or newer Buick or GMC vehicle to qualify. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires July 1st, 2024. See dealer for details.
Back inside the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, it is, it's sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Well, we covered a lot there. Jessica, the Boston Celtics, and his love of Boston sports, and it was just so much fun. JB is a great storyteller, and obviously around here, just the volleyball aficionado. But he's pretty deep. He's a huge sports fan. He loves to talk about all kinds of sports.
Oh yes, and Greg, for as much as you and I joke about our memories are not great, he remembers so much. He could recall so many details, and not just about Husker volleyball, about every single team that he's followed his entire life. I need a little bit of that memory. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, it was really, really fun to have him. And he'll be back tomorrow night. And,
yes.
And then Thursday as well. He's going to handle Thursday's show. Jess and I are both out on Thursday, so he'll be in there, and he's looking forward to that. That's a little dangerous maybe on our part to turn him loose on that, but we'll certainly be able to do that. Well, the Husker football team is kind of having some in-house media things, and just a few moments ago, Jess got a chance to catch up with the tight end from Council Bluffs.
Cool to have this back on and be going through all this again.
Oh, it's fun. I'm excited. We're all excited as a team,
as a group of guys, just be able to throw a uniform on for a little media day and some photos, and it's always fun to do stuff like this.
Okay, so take me back to the close of last season. Once you evaluated your film from all last year, what were some of the things that you took away, you wanted to improve on, that you really wanted to dive into going into this season?
Yeah, for me personally, obviously, the main thing that I wanted to focus on is, kind of my feet, footwork, when it comes to like route running, blocking, just everything, just getting better feet, having a good base, whether that be the top of the route or, having a good base when I'm, base blocking or, ground base power. Like, kind of just depends what we're trying to do as a player, as a team. But, yeah, for me overall, I just want to get better at everything. I don't think there's one thing that I excelled at extremely well. There's one thing that, that I did really bad at. I just want to level my game up in every aspect, so I can be, an all-around even tight end and just make my play and game even better for the team.
Was it a process, too, just again coming off the injuries and getting a feel for it and game speed and all of that and being in the Big Ten? Was it just like through each game, did you feel more and more comfortable out there?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. First season playing back, every game having the opportunity to play 30, 40 snaps. Each game definitely, felt better than the last. And it sometimes doesn't feel like it might be better, but from first game to fifth game, my bad in my fifth game was still a lot better than my good in my first game. So that's one thing I had to take into account and look back on and reflect on and just go through the film and make sure that I see the little things I need to fix.
You're so hard on yourself, and that's what makes you great. Is I know you watching on the sideline, you expect a lot of yourself. How do you balance that? And then also, like you said, going back and looking and seeing the things that you do well.
Yeah, being hard on myself has always been a blessing and a curse for me, because for a long time I was too hard on myself, and I would, like you said, I would kind of take my head out of the game, and I had to learn, probably like my senior year, probably like my freshman, sophomore year of high school even, just how to balance that and make it not affect my game. And then obviously, when I came into college, it was a little different because, you want to impress the coaches, you want to do all this stuff, and you have all this praise, whatnot, and you kind of go back to square one, so you have to find that balance again. And last year was really my, first year playing, so I had to find that balance again. And I think right after the Northwestern game, for me, that's when I was able to find that balance and kind of remember, not to be too hard on myself. And, when I let that happen, the game flowed a lot better. I was getting more touches, yards after the catch, touchdowns, things of that nature. So I'm really excited for this season. I think it'll be a big one for us as a team and me as a player.
What goes into this time right now, continuing to develop the relationships, the chemistry with the quarterbacks that you guys have already established? Yeah,
that's really exactly what it is right now. And summer conditioning and OTAs and stuff like that we do as a team. Developing that chemistry with the quarterbacks is huge because obviously that's who's going to be getting us the rock in the season. So being able to have timing with the quarterbacks and know where each person's going to be for each route, it's different for everyone. So being able to get that timing is crucial for us.
You were a safety blanket a lot of times for all the quarterbacks that played last year. How much pride do you take in that? How much do you want to be that, hey, if they're in a bind, if they need to throw the ball up, that you want to be that guy that can go up there and get it for them?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I'm a big body and I'm athletic for my size, I feel like, obviously. So being able to go and get the ball that's thrown to them, being a safety, tight ends are always a safety blanket because we're always open. That's that's kind of our phrase. We're always open. We're big bodies. We're going to go up there and make the catch. So I want to continue that into this season and continue it at a higher level than it was last season for sure.
I've talked to a few of the tight ends. You guys all do a lot of different things on the field. You all have different personalities off the field too. Describe the tight end room and just the characters in that room.
I always give them a lot of crap because I always say I'm a lot different than they are. They have their own weird. I have my weird, but my weird's a lot different than their weird. I don't really know how to. I don't know how to explain it. You have to be around them for a few days, but Nate and Luke, they're on the same level. And then you have the guys that hide in the back, but we're all weird in our own ways, for sure.
How much have you guys just come together though as a group, just knowing what you guys are expected to be and the role that you need to play within this offense? But you got a lot of guys that have played quite a bit of football in that room too, but just coming together as a group, not just individual players.
Yeah, we're definitely closer as a group than last year, just being around each other more and, getting to play with each other more. And now we have the young guys and, having the more experienced guys in this room, being able to bring along the young guys is important for us and important for them too, to have a fun and successful summer and spring. So being able to have the young guys and then us continue to get better at our game each and every day, and hold each other to the standard that we know, that we want. Nate, I know what Nate wants from himself, and they all know what I want from myself. Same thing with Luke, same thing with Eric, same thing with, all of the tight ends. Ish, Caden, doesn't matter. We all know what we want from ourselves, and we're going to hold them to that standard.
Take us into a meeting room with Coach Satterfield, what it's like learning from him, because it seems like all you guys are saying how much you've learned and the things that he's showing you about all the game. Take us in there and what it's like diving into that with him.
Yeah, Coach Satterfield, he's a fun coach. He's so smart. I don't even know how. He's too smart. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, in a good way, he tells us everything we need to know. Like even if we don't need to know it, we're going to learn it. Like we know the progressions from what the quarterback's reads are. We know what the running back read is on certain plays. We know what the running back's gap's supposed to be, where he's supposed to hit the play and where he's not supposed to hit the play. And then we also obviously know our jobs. We know the O-line's jobs. We know the receiving routes. So, him being the offensive coordinator, we know what the offense is doing. And that's how he goes through the meeting. He'll teach us the whole play, not just what we're supposed to know. So then that way, we can get out there and, the first few words of the play, whatever it may be, right when they say the first few words of the play, we're going to know the whole play and what we have to do and what some of the other guys have to do.
Last year, it seemed like from the start, you guys were a really close-knit group. The chemistry was there, the brotherhood, and you guys did a lot of that, I know, throughout the entire year before. Compare last year and how you guys have maybe tried to duplicate that and make sure that you have that kind of connection throughout this entire football team, really from top to bottom. How have you guys gone about that, and how important is that?
As a position group or?
Just overall as a team, yeah.
Yeah, obviously we did this, the same stuff last year. When it came down to having teams and doing competitions and going out and going to other sporting events, tennis, baseball, basketball, going out there, they put you with different, you become like a leader of the group, I guess. Well, if you're an older guy, and they put you as a captain or whatnot, and you have these young cats in your group that you don't even know, never met before, and you become closer with them. Not close with them, but you become closer with them than you weren't before. And some guys, you develop relationships where you become close to them. Like Mason Jones, for example. Me and him didn't talk a ton, before. He was younger, and it was not a bad thing, or not in any mean way, but we just didn't know each other that well. And I know his dad well. His dad's awesome, but I didn't really talk to him much, and he was on my team, and we developed a better relationship, and now we talk a lot more, and he's a cool kid, and we just know each other a lot more than we did before. And that's just one example, but from last year to this year, you just but get to know more people a lot better than we did before and develop relationships as a team.
Just a couple more, after you guys established what you did last year and you got guys like Ty Robinson wanted to come back and be a part of it, how hungry, how motivated has this entire team been to continue to build off of that and do something even more this season? Yeah,
Gifford said something a few days ago, was talking to us, and basically it was about, setting the foundation. And, there hasn't been a foundation that we are okay with as a team and them as older guys and leaders. That's what we all want to do here. We want to set the foundation, a foundation that's going to last, a foundation that's going to go for, the next 20, 30 years, a foundation that's going to be winning. We all grew up, not all of us, but a lot of us grew up bleeding Husker red, and we want to, bring it back to what we knew what it was growing up and watching it.
Okay, what are your goals? Finally, what are you trying to accomplish personally before you guys take the field for fall camp?
I just my goals before fall camp, obviously just to get better at my craft, perfect my craft every day, route running, blocking. It's hard to do blocking without any pads on. And I did some work in the off season with Jordan Reed and some other guys in Virginia, and just working on route running and getting some experience from those guys. And that's really what I've been working on. And just take some small gold nuggets from other guys that have been there and done that like them. It's definitely helped me a lot, and I've already noticed it a little bit in summer training, conditioning, and just working on my route running and overall ability as a tight end to to get me to the goals that I've told everyone I want to be.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Oh, always great to talk to Thomas Fidone. Greg, I was going to ask him about it, his blocking, but he brought it up multiple times without me even asking about it. And that I know was one of the things we had talked about throughout last season, and just he's an elite pass catcher, but that part of the game continuing to grow for him. And you could tell he's really focused on it and wants to be take another step in that regard. But he's hungry. You can definitely tell. And I think he's going to be as you said, take another step and be even bigger force for this offense.
Yeah, and I just think the quarterback play is going to be better than it was a year ago. So somebody's going to be able to get him the ball in more spots than maybe we have last year, because we struggled at that position, particularly in the red zone down there with some decision-making by the quarterbacks, where you hope that's markedly better and he becomes a huge weapon down in there. Got to stay healthy, and I think he is. I think he's kind of put that behind him. He's built himself up. He's no longer a little boy. This is a man out there now playing for Nebraska, and I think he's set up to be one of the better tight ends in the conference. I think the sky's the limit for Thomas. I do.
Absolutely, and it doesn't hurt either that the offensive coordinator is now coaching his position group. You know, I think being embedded with those guys and really diving in and understanding their skill set, what they bring, and then you think about them probably a lot more when you're drawing up some plays. But I've talked to 3 tight ends tonight, and it just was so funny as I was sitting there talking to them. They were all so 3 different in their personalities, but you think about just the room as a whole, and there's just about every kind of tight end. And, you know, you have the guys that are elite pass catchers, and you got Carter Nelson coming in, who I know there's huge expectations. You have the guys that maybe were more wide receivers that are transitioning, getting bigger and stronger so that they can add to the blocking game. Then you have the guys like Liebentritt and Lindenmeyer, who have no problem not catching a single pass and like to do the dirty work. And so you have a lot of different weapons in that room that now, too, also have a lot more experience as well. You know, even Lindenmeyer was a redshirt a couple years ago, but he played in every game last year. Liebentritt was a huge part of this offense. It hurt this team when he got hurt last year and he left. He was a big part of, you know, helping the offensive line. So they just have a lot of great pieces in that room that I think Satterfield can also scheme around.
Yeah, great point on Satterfield now handling that room. People kind of forget that Coach Thomas is here now as a quarterback's coach. So the combination of the two, I think, is going to be really, really helpful for Husker football. We need to step aside, get a break in. If you want to fire off a text, our text line is open, 402-413-2400. More of the show coming up.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Husker fans, the 2024 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $170. This plan includes tickets to UTEP or Northern Iowa, plus Illinois or Rutgers, and either UCLA or Wisconsin. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, springtime in Sharpe County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSharpe.com.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the Trail-Tamin 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Discover the future of luxury with the Cadillac Lyriq at Woodhouse Cadillac. Experience the thrill of instant torque and seamless acceleration, all with zero emissions. Shop all our Lyriq inventory in-store or online today at Woodhouse Cadillac, where innovation meets elegance. Lease a 2024 Cadillac Lyriq Luxury One all-wheel drive for $469 a month for 24 months, 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, $3,000 down payment plus first payment and $299 dock fee due at signing. Offer expires 7/1/2024. See dealer for complete details.
Woodhouse Auto Family, your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Cuddy with you. It is a Tuesday night sports nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you had a great day today. I'll tell you what, Jessica, Rhonda Revelle and that softball staff, they are crushing it on the transfer portal right now. Cole had this in the ticker, another edition announced today, and I think, man, they are restocking that team with some people that have done some really good things at schools like Arkansas and Arizona. It's pretty impressive.
It really is. And, you know, you have a really, really solid young core that's coming back, but you lost a lot of experience, a lot of players that have played a lot of ball. And so, you know, that's where the transfer portal is so helpful, is getting players that can provide that immediate experience, that have played at this level, that have you know, we've heard Coach Hoiberg say that with almost every transfer portal guy that he got, especially the ones that came from the Big Ten that understand playing at this level. And then, you know, a lot of them are ties to Nebraska that want to come home. And I think with seeing, even before Jordy Ball, the number of Nebraska kids that play here, that wear that uniform, it just means something special. And then I think now you keep adding to that, and then they want to come be a part of that. And it's such a close-knit community, and a lot of them grew up playing with each other, against each other, and it's such a tight-knit group that I think they realize, hey, let's run it back and play together and do something special. And so it just seems to be a lot of that same story coming back, that wanting to come back and play for their home state school and with some girls that they played softball with their whole life and have a special connection to. And so, yeah, I think it's been a really, really great haul for this softball program. I think they're building something special. There's no doubt about it.
And again, congratulations to Billy Andrews, named a second-team Academic All-American earlier today. Great honor. And so she puts that together with being an All-American on the field. It's such a rare combination. I know you guys touched on it last week, what a special night it was for Husker baseball when you had Spencer Schwellenbach and Cade Povich both starting against each other in that Braves-Orioles game. What a selling board for Husker baseball. Will Bolt was at the game. I saw that he was on both the Baltimore Orioles television broadcast and the Braves broadcast. I interviewed him on both of those, and that was so cool. What a great moment. It hadn't happened ever for two Husker pitchers to be facing each other as starting pitchers in the Major League. And by the way, Spencer is pitching tonight. He's got 5 shutout innings going right now. So congratulations to those guys. That was a really cool moment.
How was that for you, watching both those guys battle it out?
It was phenomenal because those were the two guys that were really a cornerstone of that 21 team that made it to the region finals at Arkansas. And, Spencer was the shortstop and the closer, and then you had Cade was the Friday night starter. And to see them both get to the big leagues this quickly, just so impressive. So happy for both those guys, really good young men, and just excited for Will Bolt to be able to kind of revel in that a little bit. And that, hey, I guarantee you they sent the tape of that and his interviews on those networks to a lot of recruits. So it's pretty impressive stuff there. Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Get our final break in. Back to wrap it up next.
Make this the summer of Jeep when you shop at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Right now, sign and drive on a 2024 Jeep Compass lease for just $299 a month with $0 down and $0 due at signing. Your trusted Jeep dealer since 1991. This is Woodhouse. 42 months, 10,000 miles per year with approved credit. Tax title license extra for well-qualified returning lease customers. Retired courtesy vehicle. Stock number BC240554. Offer expires 6/30/2024. See dealer for details.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day-by-day donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker Athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Cootie with you. A few minutes left here on our Tuesday night show. Well, you called it yesterday. You said that the NBA season would end last night, and indeed it did. The Celtics jumped all over the Mavs and did not let them up. It's over. NBA's done, getting ready for the draft now.
It just is such a boring series. I mean, it
was.
Did not. I wanted it to go to 7, at least put up a fight, and it just, I mean, Dallas put together a magical run to get there, and I think they just completely ran out of gas. But always wish, like, the final series was a little bit more competitive. But, congratulations to Boston.
There were better games earlier in the playoffs, but you're right. You kind of remember a playoff run by the finals, what the championship thing is, and it was really disappointing. But so off to the draft, and that'll certainly be interesting to see how that falls out in the coming weeks. But not a great night there, folks. We do want to keep reminding you about that 3-game ticket package for Husker football. You can put that thing together. It was very popular a year ago. We still have some tickets left for some games, particularly those early games in the non-conference for the Husker football. But I think you're going to want to be a part of the 2024 Husker football team. So keep that in mind. Huskers.com has all the details. If you want to go get that, or if you want to just put a phone call in during normal business hours to the ticket office, they would love to be able to talk you through that. Jessica was out talking to some of the players today. They're kind of having an in-house media day. They're taking a lot of their pictures for media guides and for the big screens during the season. And what could you sense kind of a mood from the guys that you were around tonight? What kind of feel did you get from this group?
Yeah, first of all, I have not been through the whole facility, and they're shooting all around, and the big screen stuff, social media, all kinds. There's different stations there. I mean, it is just, it's hard to even describe how big it is and how immaculate it is and how just all the things that's in there and all the little details. And, I think Haven Field said it the other day. He's like, I'm a guy that likes to talk a lot, but when I went in there, I was speechless. It's incredible. And they're continuing to add some graphics to it, and it's not completely done. So they're continuing to put the tweaks on it. But it is, Camden and I were down there, and he brought this up. He said, I understand why recruits have made the comments when they're done and they come off the facility that's one of the first things that they talk about is that facility, because it is so very impressive. But yeah, I mean, I think, you go back to the spring and you felt it, and just how the things that were put in place in the fall and how much they believe in the direction that they're going. And, you go through spring, and now this is the time where you're getting bigger and faster and stronger and continuing to build the chemistry and the culture and that brotherhood. And, except though I go back to just the one day at a time and not getting too far ahead, though. So I do feel like they are making sure that they aren't looking so far ahead of the season, and they are making sure that they accomplish what they need to accomplish here during this time. But yeah, I do think that this is a team that's pretty hungry, and I think that they've got a pretty special group that when you go through it on your own and you're starting to feel some of the things and you see some of the plays that some of the guys that some of the plays that the guys that you're playing with are making. I think a lot of them have brought up that they feel like they got a special group and just building off of what they did last year. But yeah, it's I can't wait. I think this is the way the schedule's set up, and they do look at the number of players that are coming back that they brought in. I think it could be a pretty special year.
I just think if you get 10% better play at the quarterback spot, it's going to make a big difference for this team. And it could end up being Heinrich Harbert. He may be the starter. I mean, he might win the job. I'm not dismissing Heinrich, but I think Heinrich has gotten better. Or is it Raiola? I mean, the money would be on Dylan to win the job. Danny Kaelin would probably be a bit of a dark horse, but I think those three will push each other. And if you're better at that spot, you probably win more football games. That's such an important position in this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you just think about how many injuries they had last year, and just I think they've got some depth at a lot of positions. And so, yeah, I agree. And then not to mention with Heinrich Harburg, the way that he got thrown into it, he wasn't the starting guy, and so it was an offense that was built a little bit around Jeff Sims, and so adjusting to that. And so I think he's way more comfortable and has improved. He has improved his arm strength. Jeremiah said that was one of the first things he noticed when he went out to practice. So, and he's been in it, and he understands it. He's got the experience in the Big Ten, which you cannot undersell having experience in this league.
Huge, absolutely huge. A lot of coaches have said you got to try to get old and stay old to be able to compete in the Big Ten and in the sport of football. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Well, what fun it was to have JB come in. We talked about the Boston Celtics, his love of all Boston sports. That was so much fun, and we worked a little volleyball talk in there with him as well. Thanks to Camden and Cole for steering the ship. Back with you again tomorrow night. Have yourself a great evening.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.